Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
Hello, welcome to Namely 90s. I'm Andrew. It's Brandon over there.
Hi.
And we welcome you to the show. You can find us on Twitter at Namely90s. That's with the 90S. And online at Namely90s.com. In any case, I think today we are tackling July of 1995. So we're going to jump into that with Brandon, who's going to give us a rundown of what was going on.
All right, July 1995. Yeah. July 1995. On July 4th, 1995, Post Malone was born. Do you know who Post Malone is?
We have to go back. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, he seems like a nice guy. He likes internet shows like Good Mythical Morning and Hot Ones.
Yeah, nothing's more savory than face tattoos.
Yes, I don't know the story behind those, but I believe he's a rapper of some sort. On the 11th, President Bill Clinton announces the restoration of the U.S.-Vietnam relations, which had not happened for 20 years. I think there was a war or something. Bill Gates is announced as the richest man alive. What did he do? Apple?
Something like that. Something with a typewriter? I don't know.
On the 16th, Amazon.com sells their first book online. We touched on that in a previous episode. Maybe the exact previous episode to this, possibly. On the 31st, Disney acquires ABC and associated networks, including ESPN, A&E, Lifetime, I think, and those types of channels. And in the box offices, we have Indian in the Cupboard coming out on the 14th, Clueless coming out on the 19th, along with Free Willy 2, The Adventure Home. And then on the 28th, we had Waterworld and Operation Dumbo Drop, which we will be talking about at length. Finally, on the Billboard charts, have you ever... I'm just kidding about that, by the way. Billboard charts, Have You Ever Really Loved a Woman by Bryan Adams comes in from all of June and takes the first day of June. Then is dethroned by Waterfalls by TLC for the rest of the month and into August. Also on the charts, number 5 is Kiss from a Rose by Seal. Number 10 is Run Around by Blues Traveler, which I believe we talked about in our first episode.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then number 12, Colors of the Wind by Vanessa Williams from Pocahontas, which was a movie released in the previous month. And I just threw this on here because you'd probably know it. Number 15 is Let Her Cry by Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie and the Blowfish being Darius Rucker's former 90s band.
Yes. And actually, he's getting divorced. I just found that out like last week.
I didn't know he was married.
Apparently.
That'll help his country music.
Yeah. Yeah, next his dog's gonna get hit by a car, and then it'll be really, really hard hitting music,
Yep.
That got dark.
I mean, it'll let her cry. So we're recording this on Thursday, July 16th. So we just wanted to we wanted to talk about yesterday. Apparently, Joanna Cole, author of The Magic School Bus, passed away at the age of 75. And I know we just talked about Magic School Bus recently, and I'm probably exhausted our memories of the books and TV shows with going into Ralph's body, shrinking something. I don't remember.
Yeah. I remember another one. There was like a super gross episode where they shrink and go into rotting fruits and vegetables, and there's like mold spores everywhere and like gross, like rotting food. That was a fun one. Gosh, between that and Bill Nye the Science Guy, what a good time to be a kid.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of I really don't remember a lot of the shrinking episodes. I just remember the body episode, but I do remember I feel like there was an ocean episode where they turned into a submarine or something.
Oh yeah,
and they definitely turned into a rocket ship. But every time I try to think of that when they went to space, all I could picture is Miss Frizzle and Ralph floating in space in spacesuits. And then it turns into that Family Guy clip where Peter and the gang go, or Peter is in a cutaway, and it's like some 80s or 70s TV show that I've never seen where they get lost in space and are singing about it. And there's that one kid that keeps singing after they've been lost for like years, and Peter's just like, "Shut up!"
Oh yeah.
Shut your mouth.
For whatever reason, the only episodes that stick with me are those that deal with shrinkage. I'm not sure if that says anything specifically.
Just that you were a giant Seinfeld fan in the 90s, or that you were in the pool recently.
I think it's inspiring a new episode where they visit a mortuary.
Yes.
She wrote it post what's the word?
Hospice?
No.
Postmortem.
After you posthumous, that's the word.
Posthumous, yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
I even made a note in my outline for Andrew's bad joke.
Yeah, there's always one. There's always at least one that's in bad taste. And every time I listen back to the podcast, I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Why did I say that?
Speaking of deaths, though, I just wanted to bring up earlier in the week, Grant Imahara died as well from brain aneurysm at 49. I know
very sad.
Yeah, not a 90s thing, but he was a part of ILM during the Star Wars prequels, and then rose to popularity in the third season of Mythbusters and beyond. I think that was more your show than mine, I think. But
I missed that show though. Yeah, it's a good one. And actually, that reminds me, I've been watching that. They did kind of like a reboot of Dirty Jobs too, which was kind of a fun show
with Mike Rowe.
Yeah, it's not good.
Did they?
It's basically just like, well, they're on a road trip or whatever.
Did they take
just basically? Go ahead.
Did they take a different QVC host and then turn him into the Dirty Jobs guy?
No, basically it's just a clip show. They're just driving around in some RV watching old clips, and then they do like one small thing at the end. And I thought they were actually going to do like new things, so it's kind of lame. I don't know.
So it's like the Grand Tour.
Yeah, but there's
Shots
no
fired.
original.
Shots
there's
fired.
Good point. There's no original content whatsoever. At least they're producing content, unlike the Grand Tour, who's just sitting on an episode. But
I'm sure that'll come to us pretty soon. So with that out of the way, RIP Grant and Joanna. Wanted to move on to so one of the movies that I mentioned was Indian in the Cupboard. I know that's not where you probably thought I was going to go, but I read that entire book series. I was very enthralled with it. And then the movie came out when we were 7, I guess. And do you recall reading that book or book series?
I don't. I know the name. Does this have to do with shrinkage again?
Yes. Well, no, they're already small.
Okay.
So it's while I was trying to remember it last night when I was prepping, so I remember enjoying it. I remember I read a lot. It probably would not be good for today's PC culture, but
yeah, no kidding.
I believe a movie is more like it's Night at the Museum for our generation. But it's definitely more culturally insensitive now. But so it was about this kid who I think he moved into a house and found this magic cupboard that turns his toys alive, and he found like a toy Native American, and named Little Bear, who was an Iroquois that was fighting the French Indian War.
And then they tried to build a pipeline through the cabinet where it was living.
Yeah,
She.
yeah,
Yes, okay.
there was definitely some fracking going on, and yeah, and I think there was like a World War II medic that he also turned into a real person to help Little Bear when he was injured, because that's what you do when you have toys that become real. Yeah, I couldn't remember much more, but I do know I read at least 3 books in that series, and I did watch the movie, although I barely remember it now. I know that Frank Oz directed it, who is best known to me as Yoda. He was the puppeteer that designed and voiced Yoda. He was from the Muppets. He was a Jim Henson guy. He was Fozzie Bear, I believe. Yeah. So I guess that's all I have to say about Indian in the Cupboard. But I remember I read the books when I was probably, I don't know, 6 or 7. Because I was a 3rd grade reader in 1st grade. And I do recall liking him.
Well, I don't. So wow, good
prep.
talk. Sorry.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad. Glad we're not exactly the same person.
I'm gonna go back in time and read them now.
Or you could read them now and make them more politically correct, and republish them and make some money.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting. Some of these stories that probably would not be acceptable in today's times, but they're part of history, and apparently you remember it and I don't.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of which, I did not prep this, but did you hear about on Monday they announced that they are the Washington Redskins are no longer going to be the Washington Redskins after 70, 80 years.
I did see that, and I just don't get why it's a big deal to people that they're doing it. Not that they had I see why it's a big deal they had the name, but why is it an outrage that they're changing the name? Like, who cares?
Yeah, if it offends you that they're replacing the name of the football team, give me back the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah, exactly.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, and the Supersonics that were moved onto tribal land, basically, because half the state is tribal. That was the thing that came out.
Half?
Well, I think it was more than half the state was owned by the tribe.
Our state? Or Washington or
Oklahoma?
No,
Oklahoma.
Because I heard that now if you are a Puget Sound public employee that works for the state, you start meetings by acknowledging the tribal land that we have taken from the native Seattle tribes.
How do you acknowledge that? By putting money in the slot machine, or
no? By literally saying that statement and then giving a minute to each meeting for that.
All meetings will hereforth have a slot machine at them.
It's actually a poker machine, one of those quick ones. But
no, actually, I applaud them for basically. I actually think the casino model is such a good model because it employs so many people, and they basically get some of their money back from basically stupid Americans. So it's perfect. It's kind of fitting.
Stupid white people. Yes, it is. It's one small thing that we can do. Just
gamble,
give our money back to the gamble. Yeah. Don't win, just gamble.
Well, it's effectively giving it back. So, anyway. But
yeah. The nice thing is that you can sell fireworks that you wouldn't find elsewhere in the state, and then take them to hypothetically Oregon and shoot them off.
Hypothetic.
Which apparently Oregon's in a drought right now. What?
I thought Oregon was rain.
Yeah. If Seattle's rain, how is Oregon not rain?
Oregon is Waterworld. Literally. Kevin Costner is there right now.
Yeah, which by the rate at which we're going through this episode, we will have to actually talk at length about Waterworld and what was the other one? Operation Dumbo Drop. Actually, hit us up on Twitter if you want us to talk about those, because I believe they will be pretty much omitted from this episode because I wanted to talk about Clueless.
Okay, and go.
Okay, so I'm going to assume you've never seen this movie.
Correct,
because it is such a one pop culture masterpiece for the mid 90s. So naturally, you, a host of a 90s pop culture podcast, have not seen this movie.
You've got that right. Yes.
This is what brought Alicia Silverstone. If you remember Bat Nipples, we talked about Batman Forever. The one that she was
Nipples,
in. Yeah. Might have been Batman Returns. I think it's Batman Forever. She played Batgirl on that, and then she breastfed her son for far too long. But yeah, this is the movie where she gained her popularity. Also, Donald Faison, who was Turk from Scrubs. He also recently, he recently voiced Hype Faison in Star Wars Resistance, the latest animated Star Wars show. It also starred a young Brittany Murphy before she got thin and hot. What I meant to say was before she had a leading role. That was kind of her big break as the nerdy outsider friend that Alicia Silverstone's character had to build up. Also, Breckin Meyer was in it, who he was in Rat Race and Road Trip, I want to say.
Wow, so all the good movies, really.
Yes, but also, can you guess which Friends guest star was a more or less leading role in Clueless? Who
Friends guest star?
Yes. Or like, I guess, supporting character for the later seasons, I would say.
Can I have a hint?
He doesn't look like he ages ever.
Paul Rudd.
Yes. Paul Rudd. Okay.
Why did that clue work so well?
Right. He played. Okay, so let me give you my synopsis of what I remember from this movie. It's a high school movie about a girl named Cher, played by Alicia Silverstone. She comes from a rich family. She's a valley girl, lives in California. She's in high school. She's kind of oblivious to the suffering of other people. Paul Rudd plays her stepbrother, and he's like in college and interning with her dad because he's like a lawyer or something. I don't remember. And he's like too cool for he's like, one of those environmental activist type people. And anyways, I remember Cher has a best friend who's black, who's dating Donald Faison's character. And then they try to drive on the freeway, and she doesn't know how to drive on the freeway. One of them, I don't remember who was driving. And then Cher, a high school girl, falls in love with her stepbrother, and they end up hooking up at the end of the movie. The end. Oh, and also Brittany Murphy is an outsider who is befriended by Cher and falls in love with Breckin Meyer's slacker skater character.
Wait, her stepbrother?
Yeah, that's
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you go with that?
Right. You fade to black. That's where you go with that.
Right into the garbage. Where you go with it?
It's possible he was an ex-stepbrother, but again.
Now, is this a popular movie or?
This is one of those cult classics, and it was 32nd in the top grossing films of the year. But it premiered against Pocahontas was the previous month, and Apollo 13 was also released like a week or two before. So it had competition. And I think it's popular now. It's like Mean Girls for the mid 90s. It brought a lot, it brought Valley Girl culture into the mainstream, like exactly what I just did.
Like as if, whatever.
As if, whatever, totally bugging. Those are all catchphrases used in this movie.
We don't say as if enough. As if.
Also, like every other word. So I was reading that. So it's essentially it's an upbeat satire of high school girl life for the mid 90s. It's the first confident heroine, but still allowing for her to be essentially shallow and fashion conscious, but then evolve a character and soul character arc. And it balanced. It brought Gen X and Gen Y together because the people who were in high school at the time were essentially on that cusp between Gen X and Gen Y, the Zillennials as they're called now.
I will smack anyone who like seriously uses the word Zillennial, whatever, either one, frankly, because the first one was wrong, the second one, it's Zillennial. That's just, oh my gosh, that's painfully bad.
It's millennial with an X.
That makes it worse
because you're pronouncing the X to Z. Yeah,
because then there's like the generation Z and X. I can't. I literally can't even.
That is true. Gen. You literally can't even. Yeah. One of the reasons I remember Clueless, because I live near Pismo Beach, and there's Cher is trying to impress her stepbrother by doing a fundraiser for a oil spill up at Pismo Beach, the Pismo Beach oil spill relief or something, and she's like cleaning out her closet, and she like has a pair of skis, and her dad's like, "Why are you donating skis?" We're like, "These people lost everything." Something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. It's not a movie.
It is a ski. Pismo Beach is a ski resort town, right?
Yeah. Could be water skis. You never know.
Right at sea level. Yes.
So since we've powered through my topics, let's do something that we were going to do a couple weeks ago. Did you hear Dunkaroos are back?
I did. Now, is there a reason specifically that they are back?
Well, I mean, do you remember what Dunkaroos are? Can you describe that to our audience?
Yes, it is a circular cookie with a fluted edge and a D in the middle, the letter D, mind you. And then that's in one container. It's got a peel
one side of the container.
One side of the container. And the other side of the container is a little thing with basically vanilla frosting with rainbow sprinkles.
Yeah.
And you just dunk the cookies in there and just eat it right up. But I do remember these as a kid.
Yeah. I remember getting a Costco sized box once, or my parents and me sneaking like a second package after eating the first one. But I also remember they had chocolate. And right now for the current Dunkaroos, they only have vanilla.
So what is the reasoning? Why are they back?
It's been like 20 years since they've been on the market, so people with disposable incomes like ourselves will be nostalgic for them. And although this package is much fatter than it used to be, it's they want money for a brand.
Well,
that's
I had a heck of a time shoveling them.
Yeah, well, so here's what happened. I told you about them. And then by the time that you got around to looking for them, they were not available in stores anymore because they released it in May to 7-Elevens as like a pre-release special. And now they're on some website that I guess are going to do some free promotional stuff for, because let's see. I don't know. Just Google Dunkaroos and you can find it. It's on some weird 90s website that has this and other stuff from the 90s. I don't know.
So
I lost the article.
So I was a little late to the party, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you were a little late, and
I was just gonna say my payback is having to go to like 3 different 7-Elevens. Like every single one of them had like 3 people outside with no shirt on. And I got outside this other one. There was a guy like dry heaving in the parking lot, and I'm like, I can't find them. I'm out of here. Yeah,
do you know how many homeless people I had to pass to get the Dunkaroos and then mail it to you from the post office? I went to 2 different 7-Elevens. One had exactly 1 Dunkaroos left, and they were 2 for $3. So I was like, do I get this for $3.50? He's like, no, it's $2. I'm like, cool. So I went to the next one. They had a display stand with like 10 of them. So I bought myself 4, but they've just been sitting on my table. I've not had them yet. I wanted to experience this with you. Yeah.
So let's just go. So the ingredients list is fairly disgusting.
Can I just
serving
say
size 1 tray with frosting? Okay, I can do that.
Can I just say, I found the nutritional information for the old ones, the chocolate chip cookie ones, which should be more calorie or whatever. But like I said, this one is definitely bigger than it used to be. The old Dunkaroos package has 120 calories, 4.5 grams of fat, and a whopping 13 grams of sugar. And absolutely no helpful vitamins or nutrients whatsoever.
No, of course.
We found that with the help of Spark people. This one has 190 calories, 8 grams of fat, and where's the sugar? 18 grams of sugar. So
it also contains bioengineered food ingredients, which sounds nice.
Oh. Well, cheers to cancer, my friend.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to open this puppy up here. And
me as well. This is now going to be our... What's the thing where they... ASMR. This is our new ASMR portion. Wow.
Oh, the frosting looks disgusting.
So gross. That does not look...
Oh.
I'm going to take a photo of this, and we're going to post this on our Twitter when the episode comes out. If you'd like to take a look at
that is
what our
horrifying. What is
that? That's definitely spooge if I've ever seen.
I've not
it
seen
before.
Any sprinkle.
I see one. Mine has 2 blue dots. One's definitely submerged, and I think there might be a pink one as well.
I'm gonna try a cookie first.
Yeah, the cookies look right. I realize that I'm bigger now.
The cookies look a little low rent.
Yeah, but as a kid, actually
cookies aren't bad.
Yeah,
texturally,
they're very sugar cookery.
Texturally, frosting is absolutely horrifying.
I don't remember them tasting like a sugar cookie before.
I'm going in for the frosting.
Ooh, this is so gross. I'm gonna have to take a photo of it.
Well, the frosting tastes right.
Oh, does it?
Looks horrible. It's translucent. Oh, it's melting. Oh no.
Oh, is it because it's been sitting in my house for...
No, mine is in my car.
Mine's not translucent. It's slightly opaque.
Mine's like a yellowy white.
So I don't remember if the originals were made by Betty Crocker, because this tastes like straight up Betty Crocker frosting.
I think the cookies were more of like a graham flavor.
Yes, I remember. Yes, they did not taste like sugar cookies originally.
This is weird.
Enjoy the sounds of my chewing.
Well, there's like a whole thing of YouTube videos of like Asian girls chewing on stuff loudly.
It's called ASMR.
Oh, and is it?
You talk very softly like this, and you get like a recording device that looks like 2 ears.
The way you said it, is it a sexual thing?
No. Well, I mean, anything sexual. And it definitely sounds very...
I was asking because my kids watch those videos.
Seriously? What ASMR videos are they watching?
Like people eating crunchy things.
It's supposed to, you're supposed to wear headphones, and it's supposed to give you like stimulation, like goosebump type stimulation. So yeah.
I typed in Dunkaroos.
Mm-hmm.
The thing people also ask on Google, are Dunkaroos illegal in the U.S.?
So I assume that's like because of the health consciousness that we've had since we've been kids.
They were discontinued in 2012, but apparently they were still sold in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Canadians would like bring them to the U.S.
Oh yeah, across the border. And then there was a Nutella version in Australia, which I think still exists.
In 2016, General Mills announced a campaign called Smuggleroos, which encouraged Canadians traveling to the U.S. to bring back the... That's stupid.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know why I didn't write that down in my notes.
I hate plays on words in advertising.
Yeah, as long if it's someone else doing it, you hate it. If it's you doing it, it's funny.
I Hopplebees.
Oh my God, I Hopplebees. That was me, wasn't it? Yeah. Or was that you? Is that you?
Do you think people are enjoying listening to us eat and reminisce about inside things?
I mean, maybe we should finish the rest of these Dunkaroos off mic. But I don't think these live up to how I remember Dunkaroos.
It should have a third compartment that has insulin.
You'll need it after eating these. What's your review on it? I'll go first. The chocolate was the best. So the white frosting, it tastes a little too much like Betty Crocker frosting, funfetti frosting. Maybe it's too removed in my mind, but it does taste like they've just made tiny sugar cookies to pair with Betty Crocker frosting. What about you?
I mean, I ate them all, but it doesn't mean I liked them.
Yeah, is it? Would you spend $2 on them online and get them shipped with shipping and handling of $4?
No.
Okay.
And I would like to add, this is a clean podcast, so I won't repeat it, but it reminds me of Louis C.K.'s bit on Cinnabon. I'll just leave it at that. You can look that up, and you can watch his video on Cinnabon. And that'll tell you a little bit about what the frosting looked like.
Yeah, and if you're interested, just take a gander over at our Twitter at namely90s with the 90s, or find our personal accounts at bshwitty and namely Andrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about on our future episodes while checking out a photo of my journey of eating Dunkaroos. You can also contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, Garden Gnome, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcasts at. That's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and we will catch you next time.